Hello my chaps and chapsticks, I'm Lemons and welcome to my review of Dadish for Nintendo Switch, PC, iOS and Android. I'll be playing the Nintendo Switch version of the game. It was developed and published by Thomas K. Young and Cat Cup Games. Is this a game that you should be planting into your video game collection? Well, let's check out my review to find out. Dadish is a simple 2D pixel art platformer where you take on the role of Dadish, a radish who's a dad. Throughout the game you'll be jumping and double jumping your way through various stages to find your missing children after they got distracted by a balloon and ran away from home. Dadish has a very simple pixel art style, which I love very much. The game seems a lot more colourful than other pixel art games, and I like that choice. It makes the world you'll be exploring so clean and polished and just overall beautiful to look at. The levels in the game are very short and bite-sized. Some may have you just simply platforming over obstacles, some might have you pushing boxes on buttons, and some might have you platforming upwards to avoid rising spikes and other things. The game puts these levels into worlds. There's 5 worlds in total, and all of them, well, mostly all of them, were amazing. I think my favourite world would have to be Abaro Woods, the intro forest world. It was just so charming and wonderful to see when I first started the game. Plus, its soundtrack is just the best thing ever. My 2 least favourite worlds are Monto Mountain and Fungo Cave. They were both good, they just weren't better than the 3 other worlds. Monto Mountain was just boring, introduced no new gimmicks and had terrible music to accompany it. And Fungo Cave was boring, but it did introduce a new gimmick in the form of bouncy mushrooms. Does this gimmick work? No. Why do you think that this is one of the worlds that I don't like? The soundtrack here is on point though. And what a nice little segue I've created for myself to talk about the amazing music this game has to offer. I'm going to do something I did in my Aerial Knights Never Yield review and tell you guys to look up the soundtrack for this game on YouTube because it's that amazing. Whether you're wanting a charming intro forest theme, a jolly beach theme, or a menacing boss battle theme, this game manages to deliver. At the end of each bite-sized levels, you're able to interact with the missing kid you found, and the dialogue between Dadish and his kids is just downright hilarious. There are bosses in this game, all being based off of junk food like the enemies, and I've fallen in love with all of their quirks and personalities. But their battles, no. You see, Dadish can't actually attack, so the battles have you just pushing a button at the right time to hit the boss. As you can probably tell, these get repetitive pretty fast. Throughout the levels, you're able to collect these stars. By collecting all these stars, you're able to unlock Possum Mode. The possum is a recurring character in the game, and he'll occasionally show up at the end of each levels where your missing children should be. He'll screech at you because he gets startled easily, and Dadish will reply with, "Oh my gosh," which, yeah, I'd probably have the same reaction if a possum screeched at me. In this mode, you obviously play as the possum, who sets out to find all of his missing possum kids. Unfortunately, you don't really get any access to any new moves, and it's pretty much the exact same game as Dadish, except for the fact that you can play as the possum. And there you have it. That was my review of Dadish. I'm going to give this game a review score of 7.5 out of 10. It's a really good example of a 2D pixel platformer. The dialogue is funny, and the soundtrack is one of the best I've ever heard. The only downside to this game is that in Possum Mode, you're given no real differences from the main game, and Monto Mountain sucks. You have just been watching me, Lemons, review Dadish. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.